Hi everybody, today's video was supposed to be us getting out of here and taking our RV boondocking. I've been doing a lot of work behind the scenes trying to get us kind of ready to go. I was at a job earlier this week and on the way home, this thing almost left me stranded. There's something going on with it. It's not running right. It's really scaring me and we can't get out of here unless we have a running car. We need a car to be able to go places. Audrey's got to be able to get to her office. So you can't just drive an RV everywhere you have to go. We're gonna unload all the tools out of the back of here. I'm gonna start jumping into this. And I guess this video, instead of going boondocking, we're working on a Subaru again. Sorry. That's been sticking.
Yeah, that's fun. Another thing we have to deal with.
I had a really big, I had a really big job earlier this week, and I had to load up Audrey's car like I used to load up my car.
Wow.
Yeah, so this is, I use probably about 80% of everything that I packed up here. Put all my tools away, and then take them all back out and work on this.
How much this AC is affecting the sound here. I got the AC on inside and it's standing right next to
I
it.
don't think it makes as much noise as the unit that was in there.
Yeah.
Remember I was telling you about my pickle forks?
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. Both of them are like that. This one's like even worse. So I tracked.
Big pickles. Butt sniffers. Oh my gosh.
It's grease mixed with sawdust.
And it's slippy? Hey, you guys don't need to walk through there. Let's get out of here.
Car all emptied out. We're gonna pop the hood now. First thing I'm gonna do is just pop the hood and start her up. I want to see what it sounds like. Make sure that there's no knocking sounds. Make sure that I don't hear anything visibly wrong with this engine. So I was driving home and it would just like stutter really bad, like I had a bad fuel pump or I had like a dead cylinder and it was just shaking real bad. I was an hour and a half away from here, so when it first started doing it, and it was like 9 o'clock at night, I wasn't really worried it was going to leave me stranded somewhere. Even though I had a car full of tools, you know, a car full of tools doesn't do you any good when you don't have parts to fix it.
We're not leaving, babe. It's okay. Thanks for...
I'm gonna start taking the spark plugs out. On these motors, the cylinder that always goes bad is this back driver's side one, so we're gonna start with this. We'll pull the battery out so I can have better access to these two plugs. We're gonna pull them. We just did a plug change when we did the timing belt on this. Remember, not that long ago. It was like...
Oh, you did do a plug change.
Like 3 or 4 years ago now, I guess.
Oh, okay.
If you really think about it. So it could just be plugs. So we're gonna really cross our fingers here and hope that's all it is. So take the battery out, we're gonna look at these plugs, and I have a compression tester here too, so I might do a compression test on that back cylinder and see how healthy it is. There's only 3 things that make a motor run. It needs compression, it needs fuel, and it needs spark. So if we have a bad fuel pump or we have a bad fuel injector, it could be causing this. If we have a bad spark plug, a bad ignition wire, a bad coil, it could be causing this. Or if we have an internal problem inside of the engine, it could be causing this. So right now, I mean, if you don't want to cooperate with me one way, eventually everyone listens. Unplugging. Covered in Earl. These valve cover gaskets. Man, if it just needs plugs and wires, I'm gonna be so happy.
Hey, want to help us out? Subscribe to our channel. It's totally free and it would really bring us joy. Then click the bell notification so you know when we have a new video up. Thanks.
I didn't realize, I mean, we did the tune-up and the timing belt in the before times. It was like 2019 or 2018. I don't remember
before
what it was.
times. Time gets a little foggy from 2019 to now.
Yeah, but we definitely did this before 2020, and that was 3 years ago. So it's been at least 4 years since this has been done. In the last year, this sort of slowly become our major source of transportation. And there's oil on here. These things need to have valve cover gaskets done. This is a H style motor, so instead of 4 cylinders being 1, 2, 3, and 4, you have 2 on this side and 2 on this side. It's called a flat 4 and a post 4, boxer engine if you will. So plugs are a little bit trickier to get out than on a conventional 4-cylinder engine. Just gotta be a little bit more patient. I'm lucky that this Forester actually has a lot of room. Some of the, like the Imprezas and stuff, give you much less room to work on it. And I'm the last one to put these plugs in, so they got put in with NICs. I was thinking of future me when I put them in.
It's weird to pull this out.
One. That's most of what auto mechanics is just moving stuff to you gotta...
Yeah, to get to something, you have to move a ton of other shit.
Yeah, that'd be easier to do if it was empty.
Yeah.
I'll hold that out of the way while I work. This is the one I'm most worried about because this is the one that the motor always chucks. This is when Subaru motors go bad, it's like 90% of the time this one cylinder that's the reason it's gone bad. Not that we have high mileage, but it's just an old car.
It's getting higher for sure. We put a lot of miles on her in the last couple of years.
And it went from like being the baby of the family and never being driven. You know, when we were in St. Louis Park and I had my Outback, this got driven like maybe once a week.
I know, I would run errands and whatever with it, but
if you would go to work, like when you went to work, it would get driven, but you would always work so close that it was like...
Yeah, well, I was working from home for a long time, and then it really only got driven for errands. But then I got the office, and it still wasn't even that far away, so...
I think we're gonna go get spark plugs and wires and run all of our other errands. Yeah, there's not as much oil, but you can see there's some crud in there. Okay, here is the front plug. Here's the back plug. They don't look particularly bad, but they definitely look worn. I've seen worse plugs. This one's got a fair share of oil on it. This is an Autolite. That's what we put in there. I'm gonna do a compression check on this back cylinder before we leave. Disconnect the ignition, or the motor will try and start. By disconnecting the coil, I won't get any spark to this side, so I can safely test that other side. It's a specialty tool you can rent from just about any parts house in America. O'Reilly's, AutoZone, they'll usually have these. It's called a cylinder compression tester. It's 2 parts. You got a hose with several fittings that goes in there and screws in where your spark plug goes in. And then you have this gauge that goes onto the end of here, like so. And what we want to see is anywhere from 100 to 140 psi on here. That's about what we're looking for. Anything over 90 is probably going to be a good cylinder. What we really don't want to see is more than about 5 psi difference between the front and the back cylinder. This is a 4-cycle engine, which means that every single rotation, the piston is going up and down twice. You have intake, then you have compression, then you have combustion, and then you have the exhaust stroke, and then it restarts all over. But when you do this test, you have to rotate it over so that piston goes up and down at least twice. And you'll hear the engine as you roll it over. It'll be like burr, 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 burr. And every single one of those is technically one rotation with a crank. So I'll let that go 4 or 5 times to make sure we're getting good pressure. All right, here we go. Oh, hey Steven, how's these batteries?
Yeah, I was going... What are you gonna do in there without really the battery?
That's definitely gonna make the pace. It's been a long week. Apparently I forgot that you can't start cars on hoops and dreams.
It went up to 150.
That's extremely good. So the fuel injectors are putting fuel in there, so that's why we got extra pressure. But that's extremely good. That means that cylinder is healthy. We're going to test that versus the front one now.
It went up to 150 as well.
This side of the engine is...
just over.
Yep, so we're healthy. Remember I said you don't want more than a 5 psi difference, so that's within... That's correct.
That is okay.
So there we go. Now we're going to go get parts. We'll come back. We're going to put them all in. I'm going to test the compression on those 2 cylinders and make sure that they're okay. Make sure our heart is healthy, and then we're going to see how we're going. Because if it's not ignition, then it's got to be fuel. And that's a little bit bigger job, but we'll get there.
Check out the RV section at Menards. Came here for some toilet treatment, little drop-ins.
They have a very good section here. That's what they got, like all kinds of plumbing stuff. You have these nice little covers and then the lid for that.
There's a lot going on here.
These stuff.
Look at that cute thing over there.
You okay back there?
And we're back. Dogs. Dogs. You okay, Belly Bean? Hey.
With an MGK Platinum plug. They're doing a tune-up on anything modern, or any car really. Makes sense. Put just a smidge of this on here on the threads before you put them back in. This is anti-seize. It basically just binds inside the thread and keeps it from getting so tight in there that you can't pull it back apart. So just gently set that back down in there. Find my plug tightness there. Pretty simple. It's the spark plug hole. This is basically the top of the driver's side of the engine. There's a torque setting for these plugs that you should look up if you are doing spark plugs on your own. I'm not going to torque these because I've been doing spark plugs since I was 14 years old. A little bit of this stuff goes a long way. You want it on the threads. You don't want it to get inside of the combustion chamber. So a couple little dabs will do you. You can get this stuff in smaller packets too. I just have a big container of it for bigger jobs. Glad you agree. I always recommend doing one of these at a time. This is pretty straightforward because it's just like it only goes one way. 2, 4, and then that's 1 and 3. Here's our wires. These are import direct wires. I bought the better set because I knew that we had an oil leak and I knew that these guys were going to do a little bit of suffering. And you can see they're nice thick boots. They're not going to have any kind of electrical interference in here. There's a little bit of patience here because the way these things are sort of run, I feel like. Easiest way to do this, just get all your boots nice and even, like so, even-ish. Whichever one the old one lines up with, that's your wire. Felt it kind of satisfying putting new wires on an engine. Tactile feeling of everything clicking into place. Patience is your friend here. They have a very specific routing for a reason. There's a lot of heat in here, and these things don't hold up so well when they get super hot. So you want to take the time to get this part right. As much of a pain in the butt as it can be.
Seems way easier than most things.
On this car.
Yeah.
But also, I've been doing this for like a long time, and so I know all the... We're going to pull the side of the airbox apart, so all of this tubing goes back here. We got this 10mm is really old too. Believe it or not, you can keep 10mm. You just have to keep very close watch on them. Both are a little rusty. Dielectric grease in these things. They give it to you, so I'm gonna use it. Just put a little bit in each boot. Keeps things a little cooler and a little bit more lubricated. So this is plug number 1. Oh yeah, you see she was crusty, especially on that side. Not bad. The platinum still looked okay. The platinum up here looks a little worn down, but not the worst I've ever seen. But again, this could definitely, any of these plugs could definitely be the culprit, you know. I'm just giving them a visual inspection. And they're all burning about the same. We granny this motor, so you can see there's quite a bit of carbon buildup on here. Let's do a compression check. You don't ever want to like over torque these things. Hand tight is good enough. Battery all hooked up. Just got a gauge all set up here so you guys can watch it. And we're at 150 and like 152, 153 on the other side. On the monitor, so. I'll see where we're at here.
150.
One more to go. These are all the same, then we know that it's not internal.
Okay.
I'm just gonna rule out two things at once. So we're gonna redo all the ignition parts and we're gonna do a compression check. So if it still acts up after that, then we know it's a fuel problem. I don't think it was a fuel problem, just the way it was acting. Pretty sure it was ignition. It's not spinning over like there's a dead cylinder too. You'd hear it when you're cranking it, because you hear that lack of compression. There it is. She's got damage inside of it. It's not bad damage, it still has compression, and we're going to see what it sounds like when I put these other plugs in, but it could very well be acting the exact same way, and now we know why. It's not completely dead, it's still working, it's just not working as hard as the other ones. I was really hoping to give this thing a clean bill of health.
Shit.
So it seems like it's running better, even though it's got low compression on that front cylinder. We're gonna let it warm up and see what it does. We'll get back to you.